Testes. 1, 2, 3. Right, okay. Well, hello everybody. A quick side note before we begin. I'm rather uncomfortably hemmed in here, as I bought some new IKEA, however you say it, Kallax units for my vinyl LP storage, and they've been kept in the records, that is, not the units, in various locations around the house recently, and my dear wife has been rather unhappy about the whole situation. So to keep her happy, and remember chaps, happy wife equals happy life, I bought these units which now need assembling, and I'm going to put them on casters as well. Now my daughter can help me with that, I think, and with any heavy lifting, I think. Anyway, enough of this domestic flim-flam. About 2.5, maybe 3 years ago, I had no idea such a thing as the vinyl community existed in the form of people, jabbering about records on YouTube. No, really, I didn't quite a sheltered upbringing. No, I had uploaded a few music chat-style videos to my photography channel during the meanwhilest. Shameless plug. But it was only after searching around on YouTube for a video about Uriah Heep, or was it Judas Priest, that I stumbled across such dedicated channels. And since then, I've started following quite a few, and I've started this very channel here of my own. As to be honest, people on my other channel were, I think, getting rather fed up of my posting record and music memories on there. Anyway, the very first channel I stumbled across was the rather enigmatically titled Music is a Journey. And I started watching what was rather a familiar-looking chap talking about the band I searched for, Uriah Heep. Or was it Judas Priest? When I say familiar, I'd never actually seen or met even the presenter before, but familiar in that he reminded me very much of me. And since that very first video, Peter and I have become friends, and I'd like to think quite good friends, actually, despite the fact that we live half a world away from each other. I'm in Wales, and Peter, although Canadian by birth, is now resident in Japan. But so what, you cry? The internet has helped connect millions of people, and yes, it has, but Peter is my friend and has helped me acquire music I needed to complete discographies, etc., and has recently sent me a rather wonderful CD. The 1979 collection by Iron Maiden. 2 discs of bootleg concert recordings from 1979. Now, the first was recorded at the Music Machine in London on the 10th of September that year, and the second a couple of weeks later on the 5th of October at the Ruskin Arms, where they performed quite regularly again in London. Now, the recordings are rough in that wonderful, smuggled in by an audience member tape recorder bootleg manner, which before mobile phones and their cameras was the primary way music fans got to hear unofficial recordings. That they are rough, though, doesn't matter to me at all. Doesn't matter a jot. You see, Peter sent the discs to me after he'd heard the story about the time I saw Iron Maiden way back in June of 1980, so just a couple of months after these recordings were made, and figured they would bring back many happy memories of that night. And of course, he was 100% correct. Now, if you've not heard that story, then I'm going to tell it again, you lucky people. If you have heard it, then that's tough. Anyway, cast your mind back, if you're old enough that is, to June 1980, and think of a wonderfully sunny summer's Sunday when you didn't have a care in the world. Then picture a 16-year-old music fan recently gripped by and inducted into a movement known as the New Wave of British Heavy Metal, or NWOBHM, to give it its catchy acronym. Then imagine that same 16-year-old had just finished what were then known as O-levels, GCSEs now, I believe, unless they've change the name again. The main exam sat at the end of your compulsory education, and before going on to employment, or more likely unemployment back then, or going back to school or college to study for advanced levels, which is what I did. Anyway, this was the start of 3 months of utter freedom, really, and fueled on cheap cider and portions of fish and chips. My mates and I soaked up the sunshine on Swansea Beach before relocating to the green outside the venue. Incidentally, the place I would like to spend most of my working life, mingling with other music fans, mainly, it has to be said, somewhat older than us. But we were all there with the same mission, to enjoy an evening of NWOBHM, supplied by, I think, was it Neil Kay, a DJ, before firstly Praying Mantis and then Maiden themselves would blow our minds and our eardrums. Now, the venue for the show, the Branwyn Hall, is a fantastic place, holding around 1,200 to 1,500 people all standing. The walls are decorated with panels created by local artist Sir Frank Branwyn, hence the hall's name, and were originally commissioned and destined to be hung in the House of Lords in London. That they weren't is very much, I think, to Swansea's advantage. Now, some very big acts have played at the hall, including Queen, who visited twice in 1973, supporting Mott the Hoople, and then in 1974 when they were the headline act. Other great bands or artists who performed there include another favourite of mine, Uriah Heep, which I was there to see that show. Not the Queen ones, though. I was only 9 or 10 when they played. Anyway, I digress. We got in and got right down to the front of the stage. Now, one of my abiding memories was after watching Mantis's set. An immense, and I mean immense, roadie wandered on stage, unplugged a few cables, and then lifted the entire drum kit on its riser off and away from the stage single-handedly. He must have been 7 foot tall. Massive. Biggest man I'd ever seen in my life. Anyway, some more. I can't remember if Neil Kay did play that night. He was advertised to him. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, some more recorded music, and then Maiden hit the stage. Now, they were fantastic, as you might imagine. And we went a little bit wild, trying at the end of the show to get onto the stage. Now, Paul Diano was actually like egging us on to get up, but the look on a security person's face made us reevaluate our position and decide that discretion was by far the better part of valour. And then it was over. The concert, that is, but not the whole experience. You see, the next day, Maiden were making an appearance at the city's HMV record store, and being now part of the great unwashed, soon-to-be student community, we had nothing else to do on a Monday morning, so we got the bus into town, met up, and went to see our heroes. They were just stood really leaning against the counter at the back of the shop, as I remember, and being a Monday morning, we were the only people there to see them at that time. We spent a great hour talking about music and football. They're all West Ham fans, but our local team, Swansea City, was then on the rise to the old First Division, and Steve Harris in particular was very interested to learn about the club. I remember asking Clive Burr why he chose to play a single bass drum instead of a double, but before he could answer, Paul chirped in with, "Don't encourage him, he can't fucking play one yet." They were just a bunch of lads, not really much older than us, sharing the same banter, humour and insults as a group that we would. We left when some other lads we knew arrived at the shop to chat to them, and after getting my Iron Maiden album signed, we wandered off into the sun, once again excited by what had just happened and the couple of days we'd had. Returning to today then, thank you so very much, Peter, for thinking about me and sending me the CD. I'm sure it'll help me always remember that Sunday and Monday, and I just wish that you could have experienced it with me. I genuinely do. Now, Peter and I share many similar hobbies and interests. Music, obviously, although maybe not all the same genres, but that doesn't matter at all. We share a love of photography too, though Peter's is on a whole different level compared to mine, I must say. Man's a genius. And finally, we both love geology, and that's a subject that I ideally wanted to study at university, but was steered away from it by my careers master at school, who suggested a computer studies degree instead, which I hated. Anyway, Peter, I'm 100% certain that with a few ifs, you and I would have been great friends. Firstly, if only we lived in the same city, and secondly, if only we were the same age. Peter, you've seen, is one of these darned youngsters. Still, I'm very glad I found your channel, and for anyone watching who hasn't already done so, please go and watch Peter. His channel and his videos are excellent. Anyway, that's it. Until next time, be nice to each other, is it? Where are my Allen keys? Oh, God. Flat back. Oh, well. It ain't going to put itself together.